December the 22nd, 2023. Important information, guys, coming in from Europe. And of course, the military complex is pushing this hard and heavy. And we've got the U.S. has now signed military agreements with Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. They're going to use them as a bridgehead against Russia, reports Politico. Now, those 6 nations, I think everyone but maybe Finland were already NATO nations, but it seems like this is kind of bypassing anything to do with NATO, kind of like what we have been seeing here in this country a lot. Not really anybody going by any sort of rules, if you understand what I'm saying. December 22nd, 2023. Guys, quick update. Situation in Europe has kind of gone ballistic and is about to get really bad. The U.S. has signed agreements with 6 nations, military agreements, and this is to accelerate the deployment of troops into Northern Europe as a result of an agreement signed with the 6 countries, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, to use them as a bridgehead against Russia. According to the publication, Washington signed defense agreements with the countries in question, as this is all they were waiting for. But there's 2 sides to this coin. When you're playing chess with the bear, you better be very careful, because what we have seen happen since this conflict began in Ukraine is nation after nation after nation pour in money, weaponry, soldiers, jets, name it, tanks. And Russia, in my opinion, could have ended this in 30 days. If they would have used what they had and they really wanted to do it in that period of time, they could have. Why did they wait? We just talked about it. To deplete the rest of the nations of their militia, ammunition, militia, weaponry, the whole 9 yards, money. So instead of coming in fast and hard and heavy, they would come in strong enough to get more nations joining, pouring more in there. And Russia knew that they had the technology to take just about anything that came in there out. And they've basically taken every tank that was sent in there into battle, taken them out. Rust heaps right now. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people dead because certain people want to make sure that their stocks in this particular type of event stay healthy. Another thing we've noticed since, I guess, the Civil War was that the complex that is here that produces a lot of munitions and sells around the world, they like to keep the U.S. as safe as possible. They don't want their facilities and their money destroyed. So another foreign war. This time it may reach back to haunt them, I'm afraid. The argument is that this is a major change within NATO for a new confrontation with Russia, as the member states of the North Atlantic Alliance trying to restock their arsenals after sending weapons to Ukraine. The new multi-year defense cooperation agreements are the guidelines for allowing U.S. troops to operate in these countries without red tape. So here's the base, do what you're going to do. They also enable the rapid deployment of U.S. military personnel and equipment. Guys, you see how this is going to be the big one. This agreement allows the U.S. to see the entire region as a military zone. That's 6 nations. It sounds like there's a lot of desperation in Europe after seeing what has happened in Ukraine to me. So there's a lot of deals, these security deals are talking about, right? A lot of the wealthy people are going to get a lot wealthier. Now, the main driver for all the deals that were signed is European security, and they need to have more American forces eastward, particularly in the case of Finland. It is noted that after the Russians annexed Crimea in 2014, Sweden and Finland began to exercise and train more closely with NATO and individual states. And this provided a de facto allied presence in the north that did not previously exist. These countries, along with their Baltic counterparts, are at the forefront of Russian activity and are calling for an increased U.S. presence. Of course, they're scared. The U.S. signed the latest agreement with Finland on Monday. That was just on the 18th of this month. Moscow was quick to respond and summoned the Finnish ambassador to Russia to protest. Finland's accession into NATO in April was an embarrassing development for Moscow, which preferred the country's non-aligned status. They knew that the West was trying to flip every nation against them. They knew that was coming. Now, I don't know how good it's going to be for you folks in Finland, but it says now Finland holds NATO's longest border with Russia, stretching 1,000 kilometers from the Baltic Sea to the Arctic. The director for Northern Europe at the Atlantic Council said that as a whole, the new defense deal spanning the length of the Baltic Sea will create a region with a stronger U.S. deterrence and presence. Now, who's going to pay for that? I'm talking about blood and money. Allied countries in Northern Europe will be able to operate alongside the U.S., he added. However, these agreements are in doubt as the U.S. presidential elections are held in 2024, and a victory by Donald Trump over Biden will likely render them inactive. Guys, they realize that, and I think now there's about 10 states that are 12 maybe that are voting to take Trump off their ballot. Started with Colorado, now it's Arizona, a lot of other ones. You can look that up. So that I don't know how true that will be. I don't know if something will happen before the elections occur. But it says how that after all, Trump is ahead of Biden by a significant margin in opinion polls. That's more than likely true. But right now, you've got the money behind the demonic movement to take this planet to possibly not only World War III, but a nuclear war. And Russia responds. They're saying that the U.S. has taken control of Northern Europe. We will take action. Guys, what about our homeland? It's demonic, and it's a path to destruction for many involved. Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman told a news conference that the U.S.-Finland Defense Cooperation Agreement shows that Washington is taking control of Northern Europe. There is a rapid military buildup by NATO states, while Sweden has not yet joined the alliance. Maybe they don't want to become ashes, because that will definitely move across Europe. Russia's about finished in Ukraine. There's still a conflict going on, but they know it is pretty much over with. There's still some fighting in the trenches and things like that. They took down, I think, 3 Su-35 Russian jets with some Patriot missiles. It's like an ambush. I think they were talking about set them up. But I don't think that will happen again, because I don't think Russia would take that chance. They're going to do it a different way. They learn very quickly. Now, again, where will the troops from the U.S. come from? Where will the money come from? They can print it at will. They're making these defense agreements, getting paid, I'm sure, to come in as protection, like a racketeer, and in these countries then take the money and do anything else they want to with it. It continues, it said the U.S. will now have maximum access to military facilities in Finland and Sweden and will be able to use them for its own purpose. We would like to warn that we will take all necessary measures, just as Russia, to protect our national security interests. So I expect the events there to accelerate very quickly, and the information possibly accelerating very quickly. Now, Poland, which was right there kind of with NATO, I didn't hear them mentioned here, but they just had a takeover in Poland. I guess the new politicians came in, they shut down and took over all of their TV, radio stations, things like that, punishing the previous prime ministers, which, I don't know what the details are there, but they shut down outgoing communications from any news sources. And arresting people is pretty rough right now. I don't know what all is going to happen with Poland, but they're right in the middle of this. But again, it's going to start rapidly advancing, and we're going to watch it. It's a heads up, guys. Be safe.